Hello everyone, welcome back to another English lesson. Today we are going to learn when and how to use a, an, and the, okay? But first, if you haven't already and you'd like to know when new lessons are uploaded, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you'll know immediately when new lessons are uploaded. I know an, and the are a little bit difficult and it's kind of hard for English learners, but you're going to use these articles hundreds or thousands of times in a day if you speak English. So it's really good to get that extra practice in. I'm also going to make a quiz. It'll be in a separate video, so once the quiz is finished, I will link it in a card and I will link it down below too. So once you finish this lesson, I'd like you to come back and take the quiz when it's ready. Okay, let's jump into the lesson. So today we're going to learn a, an, and the. So a, an, and the are articles. We use these articles all the time, and I know a lot of students have trouble knowing which one to use. So I hope in this lesson I can clear up any confusion and help you master how and when to use each one. So we use these articles in front of nouns, but there are some rules and there are some exceptions to the rules. So you know in English that we have a lot of rules, a lot of grammar rules, but we often break those rules. So today I'm going to show you those rules and some exceptions. Let's look at a and an first. So a and an are used for singular nouns. We never use them with plural nouns. So if there's an S at the end, you don't want to use a or an. And we can't use them with non-countable nouns. Now, there are some exceptions to this rule that I'll get into later. So just remember, a and an are for singular nouns. So a and an can mean any, one of many, or a group of things. Okay, but you don't want a specific one. You're not talking about a specific one. It's very general. A and an is very, very general. For example, you go to a restaurant and you order a cheeseburger. You can say, I'd like a cheeseburger. I'd like a cheeseburger. So they have many cheeseburgers at the restaurant. You don't want a specific cheeseburger. Any cheeseburger is okay. So you can say, I'd like a cheeseburger. You don't point and pick out a specific cheeseburger. So remember, a and an you can think of as any, the word any. I'll have any cheeseburger. It doesn't matter which one, just a cheeseburger. Now let's look at the difference between a and an. We use a with singular nouns that have a beginning consonant sound. And the sound part is important. So consonants are C, B, D, F, G, H. Okay? An we use in front of vowel sounds. Vowels in English are A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. But this is where it gets a little bit tricky. A good example of what I mean by this is the word hour. Hour is spelled H-O-U-R. H is a consonant. However, we don't say a hour. We actually say an hour. And the reason is very simple. We don't pronounce the H in hour. It sounds like O-U-R. We totally get rid of the H sound. And that's why we say an hour. On the other hand, a word that starts with a vowel, university. The U in university doesn't sound like a vowel. It has the Y y sound. So we say a university, not an university. Kind of tricky. Here are some examples of how we usually use a. A book, a restaurant, a movie. These all begin with consonant letters and have consonant sounds. Here are some regular examples of an. An apple, an egg, an umbrella. These all begin with vowels and have vowel sounds. So there's two things you have to remember. The sound at the beginning of the word, and that and an are used for general things. I hope you're following me so far. Let's go on to the word the. We use the when we are talking about a specific noun. Okay, specific. Or the only one in a group. We call this a definite article. It's not general, it's definite. It's very specific. We can use the for specific nouns that are singular or plural. I'll give you an example. Where are the markers? The markers are on the table. We are talking about a specific set of markers. The movie I saw yesterday was really good. So, the movie. This means I only saw one movie yesterday, and it was really good. The movie. Let's say you go to a cafe and they sell donuts. There's a lot of donuts to choose from, but there's only one donut that is chocolate. You can say, I'd like the chocolate donut, please. The chocolate. There is only one. If you say, I'd like a donut, please, it means any donut. You don't care if it's chocolate, strawberry, plain, any donut is okay. Now, remember what I said about uncountable nouns? Well, here is the tricky part. So when we have a sentence, for example, I gave him some advice. Advice is uncountable. We don't say an advice. However, when we're talking to someone and we mention advice, the next time we say advice, for example, in the next sentence, we can put the. The advice I gave him wasn't good. So the first sentence, I gave him some advice. The advice I gave him wasn't good. The advice. And remember, the pronunciation between the and the is very slight. It changes the same way as a and an. So in front of a vowel, a is a vowel, advice, the advice. Some people in America do say the advice. That's okay too. So remember, when we're talking to someone and we've already mentioned something, we can use the in the next sentence. I had an apple for breakfast. The apple was really good. Okay, so first, an apple. And then the listener knows what apple we're talking about. So we use the in the next sentence. Okay, I know it is a little bit hard and a little bit difficult to remember, but I'm going to show you a real life example. Okay, I have 4 markers here. There's 2 red and 2 black. So if I want any marker, I could say, oh, could you hand me a marker? Could you hand me a marker? Any marker is okay. I don't care if it's black. I don't care if it's red. Any marker. A marker. Okay? I took a marker. Okay, now let's say I have 2 red markers and 1 black marker. I want that black marker. I'll say, could you hand me the black marker? Could you hand me the black marker? There's only 1 black marker, so I'll take the black marker, the only marker that's black. Okay? Now, let's try this one more time. I have 4 markers, 2 red, 2 black. And I say, could you hand me a marker? I don't care, any marker. Can you hand me a marker? All right, I got a black one. So I got a marker. It was random. I didn't care which marker I got a marker. But now, since you know I have this marker, I could say, the marker I chose ran out of ink. So because I've chosen this marker, it's not random anymore. It's not just any marker. It's the marker that I have, that I chose. So the marker is out of ink. The marker ran out of ink. Okay? So now it became a specific one that both you and I know. Got it? Are you understanding so far? Is it getting a little bit easier? Now, remember when I said we use a, an, and the articles in front of nouns? Now, there is an exception to this rule too. We don't usually use them in front of proper nouns. So a proper noun is a name of something. So for example, my name is Brittany. We don't say a Brittany or the Brittany. It's a proper noun, so we just say the proper noun. It's the same for countries. We don't say a India, the Japan. However, there is an exception to this rule too. We use the for countries that start with United. So for example, the United States, the United Kingdom, the United Arab Emirates. And we also use the when we talk about a country that is made up of small islands. For example, the West Indies, the Philippines. I live in Japan. But Japan is bigger islands, so we don't put the in front of Japan. We just say Japan. We also use the when we talk about large bodies of water. The Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, the Red Sea. We can also use the for deserts, the Sahara Desert, or mountain ranges, the Himalayas. However, we don't use the for specific mountains. So we don't say the Mount Fuji. This is something that you'll have to learn over time and with practice. I know it's a little difficult to remember every proper noun that includes the word the, but I recommend listening to native speakers and mimicking them. This will help you improve and master these articles. So just to quickly review, a and an are used in front of singular nouns that are general. We can replace a or an with any. A is used in front of nouns that have a consonant sound. An is used in front of nouns that have a vowel sound. The is used for specific nouns. They can be singular, plural, and when it's the second part of a sentence, once the listener already knows what you're talking about. The is also used in front of some countries, deserts, mountain ranges, and a variety of other proper nouns. So I'm going to give you some homework, and I'd like you to answer the homework questions in the comments. So I'll be able to check them and help you out if you make a mistake. I hope this lesson was helpful. Please remember to come back and take the quiz when it's ready. Thank you guys so much for watching this lesson, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!